Om Shanti, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to another Yoga Small Talk, and we continue with 7 minutes Bhagavad Gita a day. We are still reading from chapter 5, the Yoga of the Renunciation of Action, and we have reached verse 22. The enjoyments that are born of contacts are only generators of pain, for they have a beginning and an end, O Arjuna. The wise man does not rejoice in them. Lord Krishna is taking us one step back. We were talking about the perfect equanimity, the perfect equal vision, the perfect meditation, the effortless state, the state of attainment. But Lord Krishna here is telling us, for you, Arjuna, you're still practicing. So remember, please, the enjoyments of the senses, that which is born of the contact between the senses and the sense objects, are generators of pain because they have a beginning and an end. So use this contemplation and practice equanimity. Why is he telling us that? Because we are not established yet. If we were fully established yet, we did not need to be reminded of it. We would not need to practice anymore. But we are not there yet. So here there is this practice. Oh Arjuna, remember, Lord Krishna is constantly keeping it realistic, giving us inspiration, telling us where it's going, but also reminding us, you're not there yet, you need to practice. If you practice, you will be there. This is the promise of the teaching, but please practice. And as you practice, keep in mind that as you are running after those enjoyments, you think you're running after pleasure, actually you're running after pain. And Swami Shivananda in the commentary reminds us that this verse is almost identical to what we read in chapter 2, verse 14. The contacts of the senses with the objects, O son of Kunti, which cause heat and cold, pleasure and pain, have a beginning and an end. They are impermanent. Endure them bravely, O Arjuna. So one of the first instructions Lord Krishna gives to Arjuna in the beginning of the teaching is practice equanimity. Just practice equanimity. Endure. Endure, not out of, holding ourselves so strong and suffering and being very miserable. No. With the knowledge that those things have a beginning and an end. Endure. And here, as we said in chapter 5, it comes from a different angle. It says, do not rejoice. So endure. Chapter 2, remember Arjuna is still in a very, very fragile condition. So first, endure, don't fall for being too sad. Arjuna is having a meltdown. Endure this sadness, endure this hardship, endure this difficult feeling, endure. And then, when we are talking of chapter 5 about the sage, Karma Yoga, why not to run after pleasures? Lord Krishna tells us the enjoyments that are born, and for them, do not rejoice. So, don't be too miserable with the hard things, don't be too ecstatic with the good things. Practice equanimity, because it all has a beginning and an end, meaning it is subject to change, to transformation, meaning it is not eternal, meaning it is not really true. This is the teaching, and often we are given the example of the moth, the butterflies that flies into the fire because it enjoys the light and the sensation of heat. So there are the few seconds or milliseconds, whatever it is, that there is the pleasure, and then the wings get scorched and the butterfly falls, the moth, it falls on the ground. As it falls on the ground, it comes in touch with the cool ground. Pleasure, right? The pleasure gives us energy to do what? To seek more pleasure. We go for the fire again. Again, the wings get burnt, again, fall, burnt, fall, burnt, fall. And until time is up and we shift to another form of existence, to another body, we leave this body. So the yogis tell us, chasing all the time after those fleeting pleasures, like the moth that just goes in the fire and then enjoys the cool ground, again in the fire, again getting burnt. This is not the right way to live your life. Have more knowledge. Do not dedicate your life to running after pleasures or reminding ourselves of chapter 2, to escaping that which is not pleasurable. Endure and keep equanimity. This is the practice. This is the very basis of karma yoga that will take us to purifying more and more and more and more. And as we said, we will be purifying more and more and more and more until we are able to meditate, until we are able to reach samadhi, until through the samadhi comes the knowledge, and then fully established. No more need to practice. It is always there, it is fixed, and it is of endless joy. So this is the reminder and the promise as we are closing the circles, showing the practice from the beginning to the end. And some more reminders and advice about our practice comes next. So please join us for the next teachings. Om Shanti.